recognize if you would introduce yourself and your guest, and then the floor is yours. I do want to say that I'm going to limit each bill to 15 minutes. So we have 4 bills for consideration, and we would like to be out of this room within an hour. So the floor is yours, Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. Representative Michael Meredith, representing the 19th House District, and I'll let Annie.
Hi, Annie Santos with the Kentucky Chamber.
Please proceed.
Appreciate the opportunity to be in front of you with House Bill 306 today. House Bill 306 just simply seeks to create some clarity around an issue that I think we see happening more and more often all the time, and that's violence in the workplace, whether that be a disgruntled former employee, a disgruntled customer, or someone else who comes in and seeks to threaten employees or an employer. We just want to clear up the definition of what a workplace is, what threatening behavior is, and how that applies. And then the real teeth in the law comes down to if there are subsequent offenses. So somebody is not doing this one time, but is doing this multiple times over a 3-year period. It would allow both second-degree criminal trespass to be enhanced from a Class B to a Class A misdemeanor, and third degree would go from a violation to a Class B misdemeanor in those situations. That's what the bill does. I'll let Annie explain just a little bit as well from the Chamber's perspective.
There's a motion and a second, and I'll allow you to have some brief comments.
Just briefly, this has been a priority for the Kentucky Chamber for quite some time on our legislative agenda, so we are happy to work with Representative Meredith and believe this is a reasonable way to address workplace violence. Thank you.
Does any member have questions or comments? Representative Flannery.
I understand the purpose of this, but in the existing statute, what does this not cover that you're trying to protect?
So in the existing statute, it does not define workplace. Again, so we create the definition for workplace here. And again, many times, especially in that third degree category, with that violation, it's just not a meaningful penalty for someone. So again, this would, on a subsequent offense, allow for that violation to be upgraded to a Class B misdemeanor.
If I can make a comment.
Yes, go ahead.
I guess my concern would be that by adding things, arguably, we're weakening this. And here's why I say that. If you look on page 2, one of the things that may have to be shown, it doesn't have to be shown, but may have to be shown, is disruptive or threatening behavior. Right now, the way the statute reads is you just have to have someone that's there that's not supposed to be there. I understand what you're trying to prevent, but I'm just not for sure that this is necessary to prevent these occurrences in the workplace. And I will be voting for this. I just don't know that it really adds the layer of protection that it's intended to protect. Thank you.
And Representative Flannery, if you have suggested amendments to that, we would certainly entertain those to try to strengthen that or deal with your concerns.
Representative, thank you, Representative Banta. For you.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you. We had a presentation last session on hospital workplace violence, and nurses were talking about that. Just this would cover that, right? That would cover them?
This would cover all workplaces.
All workplace. Okay, thank you.
Does any other member seek recognition? So we have a motion and a second. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Representative Banta?
Yes.
Representative Baumann? Representative Blanton?
Aye.
Representative Burke? Representative Decker?
Yes.
Representative Dietz?
Yes.
Representative Flannery?
Yes.
Representative Griffey?
Yes.
Representative Kulkarni?
May I explain my vote?
Yes.
I'm going to pass today. I think I need to understand, and I'll talk to the bill sponsor and to you separately or together, wherever we can, about some of the phrases. I mean, I just want to understand reasonable apprehension. I want to understand kind of the history of the legislation as well, and to give it some context. So for today, I'm going to pass.
Representative Lewis, Representative Maddox,
Yes.
Representative Marzian, Representative Moser,
Yes.
Representative Nemus,
Yes.
Representative Petrie,
Yes.
Representative Roberts,
Yes.
Representative Stevenson, Representative Whitaker,
Yes.
Representative Williams,
Yes.
Representative Wilson,
Yes.
Chair Elliott.
Aye.
So with 15 yes votes, no votes, and 1 pass vote, House Bill 306 is passed and will be reported with favorable expression that same should pass. So congratulations.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee.
The next item on the agenda is House Bill 312, Representative Savannah Maddox, an act relating to concealed firearms and deadly weapons. I didn't either. And I also see Representative Bray at the table, so if you would both introduce yourselves and then you can proceed, Representative Maddox.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and good morning, fellow members of the committee. For the record and for the folks at home, I am Savannah Maddox. I represent the 61st House District, and
I'm Representative Josh Bray, and I represent the 71st House District.
thank you. This morning, I would like to present to you a bill that Representative Bray and I have been working on through the interim and prior to now. It is House Bill 312, and it's a straightforward but important update to Kentucky statutes that will expand the ability of law-abiding citizens to exercise their constitutional rights to keep and bear arms. Right now, in Kentucky, citizens who are 18, 19, or 20 years old can legally vote, they can sign contracts, they can join the military, serve in combat, start a family, own a business, and possess a firearm. Yet, currently, under the law, these same adults are prohibited from carrying that same firearm concealed for self-defense. Now, this creates a dangerous inconsistency. We recognize their adulthoods and the responsibilities that come with it in every other area, but we deny them the ability to protect themselves and their loved ones whenever they step outside their home. House Bill 312 would allow for law-abiding Kentuckians age 18 through 20 to obtain a provisional concealed carry license, which has the same requirements as Kentucky's standard concealed carry license. That includes a background check, training, and proficiency in handling and operating a firearm. Our Second Amendment is clear. The right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. And 18 to 20-year-olds are very much a part of the people. House Bill 312 would align Kentucky with 25 other states, which already recognize that law-abiding citizens age 18 to 20 have a constitutional right to carry concealed for self-defense. I ask you to support this bill so that Kentucky can become the next state to abolish its age-based concealed carry ban for law-abiding adults. At this time, Representative Bray.
No, I think you pretty well covered it.
Very good.
So there's a motion and a second. Is there any discussion among the members? Okay. Seeing none, then, Mr. Clerk, please call the roll. There's a motion and a second.
Representative Banta,
Yes.
Representative Baumann, Representative Blanton,
Aye.
Representative Burke,
Yes, please.
Thank you. I'll be a no today and likely in the future. I'm concerned that What training does in the short amount of time that it happens doesn't mature an 18-year-old brain into a 21-year-old brain. And I worry that young people are at risk of self-harm. I'm not even thinking about accidents or using the firearm against someone else. I think about the young people who go to college or trade school or out into the community and they kill themselves. I don't want those kids to have an easier time getting a gun. And so for me, it's a no.
Representative Decker,
Yes.
Representative Dietz,
Yes.
Representative Flannery, Representative Griffey,
Yes.
Representative Kulkarni,
Explain my vote, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, please.
I'm going to be a no today. I think I understand the technical kind of discrepancy that you're trying to address. I just don't think we need to be in the business of putting more guns in the hands of younger people. So I'll be a no today.
Representative Lewis, Representative Maddox,
Mr. Chairman, is it appropriate for me to briefly explain my vote?
Sure, go ahead.
I am voting yes today on House Bill 12, but also I would like to address the fact that this legislation does not expand access in so much as it's already legal for individuals who are 18 through 20 years old to possess a firearm. And no aspect of this legislation changes any of the locations in which it's permissible for them to have that firearm. So when we're talking about expanding access or creating a scenario where we're exposing adults, mind you, to have the ability, they already have the ability to possess a firearm. This is simply a situation which allows them to carry concealed with training, with a background check, and with proficiency in handling and operating firearms. Thank you.
Representative Marzian, Representative Moser,
May I explain my vote?
Yes, please.
I am a yes this morning. I want to applaud the bill sponsors for bringing this. I think that anytime we are talking about firearms, that we should include safety and training, and this does just that. So thank you very much for bringing this bill.
Representative Nemes,
Briefly explain my vote, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you for the sponsors for bringing this bill. This bill is a responsible approach. As the sponsor said, the law already allows people who are over 18 to carry firearm, to possess a firearm. What this does is if they're going to carry concealed, it requires training, which is very good. So I think it will actually help the situation that my friend, the lady from Lexington, was concerned about insofar as her increasing self-harm. I would also say that it's in keeping with Section 1, subsection 7 of the Kentucky Constitution, which says the right to bear arms in defense of themselves and of the state, subject to the power of the General Assembly to enact laws to prevent persons from carrying concealed weapons. Thank you for bringing this bill. I hope it makes it through the finish line to protect our young folks and to educate them on how to use firearms. Thank you.
Please.
That's
cast
a
your-
yes.
Representative Petrie,
Yes.
Representative Roberts,
May I explain my vote?
Yes, please.
The fundamental marker of you being welcome in a political community historically has been whether you are allowed to be armed or not. When the government disarms a category of persons, it sends a message to them. It sends a message that you are a second-class citizen. It sends a message that you are not an equal citizen to those in power. It ultimately sends a message that the government does not trust you and deems you to be politically suspect. Young Americans who are able to join the military, who are able to vote, in states, by the way, where there have been elections that have been decided by one vote, right here in Kentucky, they have that right to defend themselves fundamentally. Our history aligns with that, and history is the test for whether something is constitutional under our Second Amendment. And we can look to the founding documents. Our real mother state, Virginia, which we broke off from, their founding document not only allowed for the carriage of firearms, they required it for every able-bodied person who was able to. That was one of the fundamentals of it. North Carolina's founding documents specifically gave land grants for people as young as 14 who are properly armed. This is a step in the right direction and ultimately closing liability upon the Commonwealth. Our neighbor to the south in Tennessee was sued for excluding 18 to 20-year-olds from the right to concealed carry. That lawsuit was successful. They're now constitutional carry in Tennessee. So this is a great step in the right direction that will shield the Commonwealth from further liability and ultimately protect our citizens. So I'm a strong yes. Thank you.
Representative Stevenson.
May I explain my vote?
Yes, you may.
In the military, we train 18, 19, 20-year-olds extensively, and they don't get to conceal carry. They get to use it when we tell them they can use it. I've been talking to a lot of high school students, and their concern is not if they will be shot at, it's when. And we're not dealing with that epidemic. It is a health crisis that in this country, anybody could get a gun and shoot anybody, but we want to keep giving more guns. Also, the Second Amendment says a well-regulated militia. A well-regulated militia. And we're not tending to that. So I'll be a no until we can figure out a way to protect children, families. I'll be a no until we can figure out how people can go to the grocery store and not be killed. I'll be a no until we can say with certainty that people that have guns and deadly weapons are trained, don't have mental issues, and the rules are being followed. I notice at every gun convention we have in this state, they don't let them bring their guns in. So why is it that at a gun convention, they can't bring their guns in? And they certainly can't conceal them. No.
Representative Whitaker.
Yes.
Representative Williams.
Yes.
Representative Wilson.
Can I briefly explain my vote?
Yes, please.
I'll be a yes. It wasn't too long ago. I remember when I was 17, I couldn't wait to be 18. When I was 18, I couldn't wait to be 21. I may be looking at this too practically, but I think it's going to cause a lot of people to take training that otherwise would just wait until they're 21 and carry. Thank you.
Chair Elliott.
Aye. So with 15 yes votes, 3 no votes, and no pass votes, House Bill 312 is passed and will be reported with favorable expression that the same should pass. So congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time this morning. House Bill 320, an act related to human trafficking. Representative Nemes, and he's down at the table with his very distinguished guests that I had an opportunity to meet with earlier this morning. So thank you for being here, and if everybody would introduce themselves, and then you can proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Jason Nemes from the 33rd District, Jefferson, Oldham, and Shelby counties. Push that button.
Push the green, yeah. Is it green? Okay.
He's good.
Hello, my name is Sam Mayer, and I'm a student at Sacred Heart Model School, level 6.
Hello, my name is Brad Kelly, and I'm in level 6, a student at Sacred Heart Model School.
Hello, my name is Clark Kissong. I'm a 6th grade student at Sacred Heart Model School.
Thank you,
Mr. Welcome this morning, and we're glad to have you, and you can proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Before we start and I turn it over to the young men, I would like to ask for a title amendment.
There's a title amendment. Is there a motion to adopt? There's a second. All those in favor, aye. Aye. Those opposed, no, and the title amendment is adopted.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, because even in the title, it's important to show that we're combating human trafficking, not promoting it. The reason it was called that initially is because that's the title of the statute. So with that, I would like to ask these young men to take over.
In 5th grade, we were assigned an exhibition project by the International Baccalaureate Program. In December, we took a survey to decide which UN goal we were going to do our presentation on. Me, Sam, and Brad all chose the same one, 16, peace and justice.
When we researched human trafficking, we realized that committing human trafficking is a B felony, while promoting human trafficking is a C felony. If the victim is under 18, committing human trafficking is an A felony, while promoting human trafficking is a B felony. We thought this was unfair, and we wanted to change. We want to equalize the felonies of committing and promoting human trafficking.
So what is human trafficking? Well, human trafficking is a business. In fact, it was $130 billion last year, globally. By punishing the promotion of human trafficking less severely than Indiana and Tennessee, we are making a safe haven for those who profit off of human trafficking in our Commonwealth. We are just kids, and we don't have enough knowledge or experience to know all the ways we should be fighting human trafficking in our Commonwealth and helping its victims. But we do know that there's no reason that we should be punishing promotion less severely. I have one thing to say, and it is res ipsa loquitur. The thing speaks for itself. We encourage you to send a message to the people who profit from human trafficking by passing this bill. We encourage you to continue to take action in the fight against human trafficking in our Commonwealth and help its victims re-enter society and recover. We would like to thank Representative Nemes for helping us be before you today. We would like to thank our teachers and administrators of Sacred Heart Model School for helping us with this project. And finally, we would like to thank you for listening to what we have to say.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. With that, we'll answer any questions.
So there's a motion and a second, but I have to say bravo to steal a line from my co-chair. And I didn't hear the word res ipsa loquitur, I think, until I was in law school, and that was Professor Liebsen's favorite word at Brandeis. I think Representative Nemes, he liked to say that a lot. So thank you for being here this morning. You did an excellent job. I'm going to recognize Scott West, who has asked me to speak, and so he has some comments on the bill. And if he will come up, and you may want to pull a chair up, Scott, or somebody may give you some room.
Scott, I'll change with you.
But there is a motion and a second to adopt the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you for allowing me to speak. I'm here for Kentucky Association of Criminal Defense Lawyers today, and I appreciate the intent behind this bill. My friend, Representative Nemes, we've worked on a lot of things together. We'll continue to do that, and I'm not here at all to detract away from the intent of the bill. As usual, I'm here to talk about unintended consequences. And so rather than say I'm against the bill, I'm always looking for the tweak to avoid the unintended consequences. And in this case, what spurred me to this is a Supreme Court case that came out December of 2024. In that case, it was a guy named Jeffries who was in Louisville, and he called an escort service. And he thought he was getting an adult. The record does not show he thought he was getting a child. But on the other end was a police officer posing as a 16-year-old. The Supreme Court says there's nothing in the record to indicate he thought it was a child. But he got charged as a human trafficker. And the issue is, in this case, was whether or not the $10,000 fee was a fine or a fee. If it's a fine and you're indigent, you don't have to pay it. If you're indigent but it's a fee, you still have to pay it. But it was the dissent by Justice Thompson that drew my attention. He says, I'm further troubled that in the Commonwealth choosing to prosecute a John for promoting human trafficking, Jeffries became subject to this oppressively large fine, which goes into the Attorney General's fund to use in his discretion. And my concern is because human trafficking and promoting human trafficking is the charge that carries the $10,000 fee, I'm worried that what has traditionally been solicitation of a prostitute, as in this case, is going to become a C felony in the case of an adult and a B felony if it turns out on the other side is a child. Now, I don't care about the child aspect of it. When I think of human trafficking, I think of Liam Neeson in Taken, where his daughter is kidnapped and sold to the highest bidder. A more realistic, common version is the pimp who gets runaway children addicted to drugs and then forces them to prostitute. Those are not who I'm talking about. But I am talking about to the person who normally they're going to face a misdemeanor for soliciting a prostitute. But because the word patronize is in the definition, they can be charged, as Jeffries was, for human trafficking. And that's not usually what we do. There are other charges that he could face and did face and was convicted of. But human trafficking has always been about the people who are causing this to happen, not someone who's soliciting an escort service, which is how it was described. So I would ask for a tweak, just carve that out. Make sure, put some language in that says, but we're not talking about that. We can't use the word Johns, but there's draft people who know how to draft this so that it doesn't include the people who normally would be charged with solicitation of a prostitute. And that's all that I wanted to say about it. And I appreciate the opportunity. And Representative Nemes, I would have talked to you sooner. I didn't see the agenda till last night.
So to summarize your concern, and I just want to make sure I understand what you're saying, is that you think the human trafficking definition is too broad, the way that it's written in our statute now, in that someone could be charged with human trafficking even if they weren't necessarily engaging or profiting from it, from the traditional understanding that we have of it. And the example that you're using is solicitation of a prostitute. That person was charged with human trafficking when in reality it sounds like you don't think they really engaged in that activity. So you're arguing for a narrowing of the human trafficking definition. Is that fair?
Yes, but I think that the snare will be bigger if you raise the penalty for the adults as well, because suddenly it becomes more of the type of thing you can do a sting operation on and get $10,000 fee per person, which is, I'm not sure that they would do that under the current penalty if it's an adult, because you're going to have attempt, it's going to take it down to a misdemeanor, but taking a C takes it down to a D, and you're still going to be able to get these fees. So that's what I'm concerned is that raising the adult without a carve out for, I hate to use the word Johns, but that's what the Supreme Court used, is going to be an unintended consequence. I don't think that's what is intended as far as the children. And by the way, the LRC should hire these kids immediately. That is some well-researched stuff, and I hope they get an A+ on it.
Well, I do too. Representative Nemes, you wanted to respond.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I would say I don't know that we disagree with that, but that's not this bill. What this bill does is it says those who promote human trafficking, which has a definition of someone who benefits financially or receives anything of value from knowing participation in human trafficking. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to say, in my friend Mr. West's example, if that escort service weren't the police, if it were a real escort service, they should be treated as harshly as the person who's actually engaging in the conduct, because without that business, it wouldn't happen in the first place. So we're trying to take away that source. With respect to employment, obviously, it's not just sexual human trafficking, it's also employment human trafficking. If you have somebody who is promoting human trafficking by putting all these people into employment situations and divvying them out to all these employers, that should be treated, in my view, it should be treated more harshly than the actual person on the back end. But what we're trying to do here is to make them equal. Now, if the definition is too broad, that's fine. Let's have that discussion. That's not this bill.
Right, you're just making the penalty more severe because that's what we need to do. So I agree with what you're saying. There is an or there between A and B, and I think that goes to Mr. West's point.
Mr. Chairman, just briefly,
yes.
Strike the word patronize from the definition, and I'm good and I'm gone. What my thing is, raising the penalty is going to make this more likely to be a charge, because even if you do something to try to lessen the charge, you can still get it. But I will take my concerns to Representative Nemes after
like a simple solution. Any member have a comment or question? Representative Stevenson. Leader Stevenson, I should say.
Our queen. Representative Nemes, can we just strike patronizing? Because I understand the point, and we could get this done.
Well, I just heard about it. Okay. That's not what this bill's supposed to do, so I will talk to my friend Scott, and we'll have that discussion. But what these young men have brought to me is, I think, a good bill on its face, and that is that if you promote human trafficking, you should be treated the same as if you just engage in human trafficking. And again, as I said before, if one of them is going to be more harsh, it should actually be promoting.
Yes, I think that's a good point. Representative Petrie.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good bill. Thank y'all. Good presentation also. And Mr. West, thank you for the points. Not to put too fine of a point on this, human trafficking is today's modern day slavery. So what kind of emotional, analytic, moral connotation you put with slavery in the traditionally understood sense, this is it. Human trafficking, the commodification of humans, the dehumanization of a human, the devaluing of a human. That's what this is. Not much worse from a policy or moral standpoint or anything else. Thank you for bringing the bill. One thing, since some comments were made about issues potentially around definitional inside the bill or even under human trafficking inside the same KRS chapter. On B, you got section 1A, 1B. On 1B, I would just put in the public psychic deck for the moment, consider changing that mens rea from knowing to wanton, which is another way of trying to say reasonably should have known, and make sure, especially if the patronage is pulled out in response to Mr. West's concerns, especially if, then you should have known. But I don't like it when we have drug dealers or others that go, well, you know, I didn't know. And when we go knowing as a mens rea in Kentucky, that's pretty well subjective. Well, I don't know that this standard should be that high. Wanton or reasonably should have known is probably more appropriate for the reasons stated. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you for the bill again.
Thank you. Any other members seeking recognition? Okay, if not, Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Representative Banta?
Yes.
Representative Baumann? Representative Blanton?
Aye.
Representative Burke?
Yes.
Representative Decker?
Yes.
Representative Dietz?
Yes.
Representative Flannery?
Aye.
Representative Griffey?
Yes.
Representative Kulkarni?
Yes, great job, and I hope you get an A+.
Representative Lewis? Representative Maddox?
Yes.
Representative Marzian? Representative Moser?
Yes.
Representative Nemus?
Yes.
Representative Petrie?
Yes.
Representative Roberts?
Briefly explain my vote.
Yes.
From one student of Latin to another, laudo vos valde. I praise y'all greatly. This is great legislation to ensure that every single person that is part of this enterprise that has devastated communities and harmed Kentuckians are equally held liable. So thank you for that. I'm a yes.
Representative Stevenson?
Explain my vote.
Yes, please.
First of all, fabulous job. I think you should take Representative Nemus's job.
Sam wants it.
And I appreciate you being the leaders of today and not tomorrow. Yes.
Representative Whitaker?
Yes.
Representative Williams?
Yes.
Representative Wilson?
Yes.
Chair Elliott?
Aye. So with 18 yes votes, no votes, and no pass votes, House Bill 320 is passed and will be reported with favorable expression that the same should pass. And procedurally, I've been advised that typically we adopt the title amendment after passage. So I'll ask for a motion. There is a title amendment. There's a motion. There's a second. Is there a second? There's a second. All those in favor of adopting the title amendment, please say aye. 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 Those opposed, no. And the title amendment is adopted. Congratulations, guys. A+. Congratulations.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Great job, gentlemen.
So our next bill is House Bill 366, And Representative DJ Johnson is the sponsor of that bill, which is an act relating to possession or viewing of matter portraying a sexual performance by a minor, but I don't see Representative Johnson in the audience, so we may stand at ease for a couple of minutes to determine where he is and if we can get him down to the committee room. So we have a pinch hitter on House Bill 366. And thank you for doing this, Representative Nemus, so that I don't have to. If you would proceed with House Bill 366.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. DJ Johnson obviously is a sponsor of this bill. He couldn't make it for other reasons. So I'll just pinch hit for him. I don't think it's all that controversial. The bill is a page and a quarter, so it's not very long. And it effectively just wants to ensure that anybody who's convicted of this violation is not released early until they serve at least 85% of their sentence. And it also adds the language, obviously, on line 7 on page 1. It says the sexual performance by a minor, and what's added is or computer-generated image of a minor, which obviously is more and more prevalent these days. So, but the impetus of the bill is to make sure that people who violate this section have to serve 85% before they're released.
And we have already criminalized the possession of computer-generated images of a minor. So you're right, this would make sure that they would serve 85% of their sentence. So does any member have a question or comment?
And Mr. Chairman, that's on line 17 of the bill, which is already part of the law. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Any member seeking recognition? Representative Petrie.
I know you're, thank you, Mr. Chair. I know you're standing in on this.
Here's your
Appreciate
shot.
it.
Take it.
No, not at all. Just to put on deck for consideration, yes, we have possession, viewing, matter portraying a sexual performance by a minor, and then we have, that's actual, and then we have AI or computer generated or some kind of digital format. Do we not also have paper format that's drawn by hand that is omitted in this bill? So if you're trying to get at the point of someone who is portraying or viewing, creating, just make sure that we're catching all the different mediums.
I would definitely talk with the sponsor about that, Representative Petrie. I believe it's covered.
I think so.
Under line 16 and 17, where it says, shall apply only apply to the deliberate, purposeful, and voluntary viewing of matter depicting sexual conduct by a minor or computer generated. So I think it's covered. It might need to be clearer.
Just check on it.
Yes, sir.
And relate that to Mr. Johnson, Representative Johnson, if you will.
Thank you.
Prosecutors will be able to inform also. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
I'm advised by staff that that would fall under more of an obscenity definition, but I think that's a great question that I don't have the answer to either. But I'm advised that would be more of an obscenity issue if it's actually drawn. Any other members seeking recognition? Okay, is there a motion to adopt House Bill 366? There's a motion. Is there a second? There's a second. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Representative Banta?
Yes.
Representative Baumann? Representative Blanton?
Aye.
Representative Burke?
Aye.
Representative Decker?
Yes.
Representative Dietz?
Yes.
Representative Flannery?
Yes.
Representative Griffey?
Yes.
Representative Kulkarni?
Yes.
Representative Lewis? Representative Maddox?
Yes.
Representative Marzian? Representative Moser?
Yes.
Representative Nemus?
Yes.
Representative Petrie?
Yes.
Representative Roberts?
Yes.
Representative Stevenson?
Yes.
Representative Whitaker?
Yes.
Representative Williams?
Yes.
Representative Wilson?
Yes.
Chair Elliott?
Aye.
So with 18 yes votes, no votes, and no pass votes, House Bill 366 is passed and will be reported with favorable expression that the same should pass. So congratulations, Representative Johnson. Good job, Representative Nemus. And if there's nothing else to come before the committee,